Hello, and welcome to Prices of the 1950s and Today by Matt Sinnott and Amanda Page.
During the 1950s, soldiers came home after World War II in search of jobs and wanted to settle down to begin new families. This caused a mass migration into the suburbs, with the average income rising from $3,216 to $5,416. People were now able to afford buying new luxuries such as the automobile.
Car dealerships began popping up around the nation. Dealerships offered the availability to buy on an installment plan instead of paying the price of $13,099 to $2,262, which was the average price of a car in the 1950s.
In order to drive these cars, people needed to buy gas. Gas prices in the 1950s averaged around 10 cents per gallon.
Today, over 143 million people drive cars in America. Many car companies that existed in the 1950s somehow still exist today. With the average cost of a new car in 2012 being $30,050, less Americans can afford buying new cars. Today's high gas prices, with the nation's average being $3.79 per gallon, many people are now using public means of transportation.
Owning a new car in the 1950s allowed for the nuclear family to move out of the cities and into comfortable homes in the suburbs.
For example, in Levittown, the average cost of a home was $14,500. Paying for the home was made easy with the average income at an all-time high and being able to pay for the house through installment payments through a period of 30 years.
Today, millions of Americans still remain in suburban communities across the nation. With the average cost of a home being at an all-time high of $172,000, less and less Americans are able to afford new homes.
One way of communication and paying bills was through mail. In order to send mail, you had to have a stamp on it, which in the 1950s costed 2 cents per stamp.
Today, the use of mail has become less popular throughout America. Even though it has become less popular, the price of the postage stamp still is at a high of 45 cents.
Many women in the 1950s stayed at home while the man of the house worked. While they were at home, they often went to the grocery store to prepare dinner for the night. At the grocery store, popular items were milk, which was 82 cents per gallon, a loaf of bread, which was 14 cents per loaf, Campbell's can of soup, which was 2 1-pound cans for 25 cents, and sirloin steak, which was 77 cents per pound.
Today, it isn't just the women who go grocery shopping, but it could be the wife or the husband who would go and pick up food supplies. Compared to the 1950s, prices have skyrocketed. For example, milk is at $3.67 per gallon. Bread is $4 to $5 per loaf. A can of Campbell's soup is 3 cans for $4, and sirloin steak is at $2.99 per pound.
After dinner, families would often gather around the TV and watch their favorite shows. If they didn't have a TV, they would gather around a radio, which costed approximately $14.95.
Radios are still frequently used in America today, but are not as cherished as they were in the 1950s due to advances in technology. Depending on sound quality and how many stations you can receive, radios can run anywhere between $10 to hundreds of dollars.
In many homes in the 1950s, TVs were the center of attention, somehow Americans being able to afford one, which costed on average $199.
TVs in 2012 have become much more compact, but more expensive, ranging anywhere between $250 and $5,000, depending on size and technological capabilities.
The typical housewife had was doing the laundry. The invention of the washing machine, which came available to purchase in 1947. Its original cost was $249.50. After the clothes were washed, the clothes were often hung up to dry.
2012, almost every home in America has a washer and dryer in them. To buy a washer and dryer, the prices range from anywhere between $250 and $1,200.
We thank you for viewing our project. We hope it has shown you the differences in price of the 1950s and today caused by inflation and our struggling economy.